What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the FN Studios. I am John Ramdeen alongside Robin Black. December 30th, UFC 207 goes down. It is the return of Ronda Rousey as she takes on Amanda Nunes for the 135-pound championship. A great night of mixed martial arts in store. What do you anticipate we will see from Ronda Rousey? We have to remember, this is an athlete that people call the greatest fighter of all time, nearly unbreakable. She's going to have a reign for years and years, suffers her first setback. What do you expect from her?
Well, let's pretend that we never saw that fight with Holly Holm.
Yep.
That fight never existed. She just took time off, and now she was fighting Amanda Nunes. We would look into this camera and we would say, Amanda Nunes is a fantastic grappler who, if she gets on top of you and she's got great striking, and people would be like, you guys are shills. You guys are trying to convince us of nonsense. That this girl has no chance against Ronda Rousey. Ronda takes everybody out in under a minute. She's just another one. That's what people would be saying. If we remove Holly Holm from it and we imagine that Ronda without that context, that Ronda destroys Amanda Nunes. But life doesn't work that way. That fight really happened. It really happened. We saw a difference. Amanda Nunes saw a difference. And Ronda Rousey experienced a new perspective, and it's changed her.
What about the idea of dealing with some of these legends? We heard it for years about Anderson Silva, that these athletes are defeated before they ever step foot into the cage because they're not just facing the martial artist, they're fighting the myth. They're facing, the whole attitude that this fighter is maybe bigger than just a normal human being. Now, that, as you mentioned, you got the Holly Holm win out of the way, or loss out of the way. Amanda Nunes and everybody else in the division's like, okay, she's just another girl.
Yeah.
I'm going to knock that out of the way and go after her and believe that I can defeat her, just like Chris Weidman believed that he could defeat Anderson Silva.
But it is the same groupings of muscle and tissue and cells and bone. All of that is with blonde hair and judo, and that's all the same. But how Ronda Rousey experiences the world and sees the world and believes in herself may have changed, and that's the biggest thing. If that Amanda, Kat Zingano said all the right things and believed all the right things and then just went running towards the danger and got armbarred. It's different now. It really is different. Ronda needs to be different as well. She can't just put on that face and do that march out to that old Joan Jett song. We do. We love that. She has to relearn what it is to be dominant. And unfortunately, we haven't seen evidence that she's been surrounded by the best people. And I personally would love to see this woman go back and take over this fight and do what she does and enjoy that feeling again, and then either retire or move on. But she has to feel that. She has to experience that.
Is it that important that she goes out and gets a win in this fight? If she goes out and has 5 incredible rounds with Amanda Nunes but just loses a split decision, what do you believe that she will stick around in the sport of mixed martial arts?
I think if Ronda loses, my personal opinion is that she won't fight anymore. I mean, why would you fight anymore? When you go into that environment, people are horribly mean to you. They say terrible things, and some of you say, oh, well, she had it coming because she said them first. It doesn't really change her experience that she goes out into the world and people are evil to her from her perspective. And, she makes more money in many other areas of her life now. She's made the money that she needs to make. She sees the world differently than she did before. But all of this can be a great reason to wake up in the morning and a great motivator, and you redefine who she is and give her purpose and go out and be the greatest fighter again. We will probably talk 95% speculation about Ronda and 5% about Amanda Nunes, and that's just the reality. She beat a fighter who beat a fighter who beat Ronda. But it's still Ronda that we're thinking about. It's still Ronda that's compelled us and has captured our imaginations, good, bad, or indifferent.
And we're going to be talking about Ronda Rousey in the weeks to come, but I want to talk about some other fights that are on this card, because as much as the eyeballs are going to be on the former 135-pound champion, we have to remember the former heavyweight champions Cain Velasquez and Fabrizio Verdum also on this card. You have John Lineker and the former 135-pound champion in TJ Dillashaw. You have Dominick Cruz, the 135-pound champion, taking on your boy neck tattoos, Cody Garbrandt.
Why do we call him that? Because he has tattoos on his neck. It's not meant as disrespect. He's a fantastic fighter. He puts a lot of power in. He's very mobile. It's that's the fight I'm most interested in. I am, personally very curious about Ronda Rousey and kind of cheering for the human being to go and reach new heights again, because there's a tragic element to her that you can feel. But as a fight fan, just the purity of the fight game, frame, Dominick Cruz is somebody that I just need to watch. As long as he'll keep fighting, I'll keep deeply watching and analyzing and studying and being blown away by it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. And when you think about exactly what we're going to see from Dominick Cruz, and you wonder to yourself, will Cody Garbrandt be able to process what's happening in there? Will he be able to catch Dominick Cruz? You pointed out Dominick Cruz getting hits for chumps. What happens if Cody Garbrandt is, doing something different, something Dominick Cruz hasn't seen before, and he does get hit and he does get hurt? I don't know if that's the case. And then what type of fighter will Cody Garbrandt be after facing Dominick Cruz?
Well, you'll be a better fighter for the experience, for sure. It's interesting. Cruz built his entire world around mobility and evasiveness, evasion, the ability to not have you touch him, and then slowly added more and more layers to the game. And one of the layers he's now added is really figuring out how to put back power and impact and concussion into the strikes. Mobility takes away to the very definition of moving your feet, means that you're not in touch with the ground, which is where power is generated from. And so that is something that you sacrifice when you become more mobile. You hit with less concussive force. But he's slowly, because he's so smart, been finding different techniques through the collision, making you run into things, through momentum, through different elements. He's added the power back. Garbrandt now needs to add that mobility and that understanding, and I think it's too soon.
There's so many great fights at UFC 207, and there will be title implications all through the card.